वन्दे श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I think because of this fan, the voice is breaking. Okay. So, what we discussed yesterday, any remembrance after 22 hours? What discussion is going on? You have a- बोला बोला हिंदीत बोला. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Any other point? Yes. Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu. Hmm. Yes. Achit Tvai Uchita. So, what is the for what kind of bhakti and especially suitable for a woman like me? Yes.
We also discussed that why Mother Devotee is asking for the path of jnana if she is devotee. Then we saw that an intelligent person not only knows what is required for himself, but he also likes to know what others the other about the other paths.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. Any other point? हाँ यस साधु के तटस्थ लक्षण और स्वरूप लक्षण. यस. अजरम. हाँ करेक्ट. यस.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा. यस.
Yeah. Yesterday we saw the one who is attached to the material contamination cannot be a devotee.
Correct. In the purport this line was there. As long as he is attached to material contamination, he is not a devotee. Correct. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? Thank you, Karan. Hmm. So Lord still gives then. We saw one example. A charitable person gives gems and pearls and rubies. So less intelligent person may think that he cannot give gold, but he gives then he removes the misconception of those less intelligent people. Okay. So Yesterday we began from shloka number 20 of 25th chapter. So after describing bhakti has to be performed, but obstacle for bhakti is attachment, and that attachment can be removed by association of sadhus. The symptoms of real sadhus are explained in four slokas, 21 to 24. Then this association with sadhus, so it will satam prasangat mama virya samvido. So we saw here uh, association which is very strong. That association only will make Lord's katha very rasayanaha. But the aprakrishta sangha, that association which is not very strong, that will result in what? Anyone remembers? So initial association is not so very intense, so that will result only in uh, impetus for performing bhajan kriya. And afterwards, that intense association will make the Lord's katha very relishable, very attractive. So this satam, prakrishta sangat and aprakrishta sangat, we discussed in this point. So initial shraddha to go into the association of devotees, and later on shraddha in the Lord's protection or Lord's uh, su- Lord's unique position as a supreme well-wisher. So two types of shraddhas. So only by bhaktya puman jat virag indriyad shruta drushta shrutan mad rachananu chintaya चित्तस्य यत्तो ग्रहण योग युक्तो यतिष्ठति रुजुभिर योग मार्गैः. So here a person becomes virag, his attachment for indriya sukh as well as heavenly pleasures. So it goes away. So jat viraga. So by doing what? Mad rachana nu chintaya. So my rachana. So what we saw Lord's rachana in the form of creating this material universe as well as his activities in his dham and in spiritual world. So this is a yoga or bhakti mishra yoga, because here the chittasya grahani yani ki vashikarane. So yesterday Sri Bhagavad Gita asked this question. So this sloka is mentioned by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to be bhakti mishra yoga. Bhakti is small percentage and yoga is more, because here chitta, Ashtanga yogi concentrates on chitta more. And this asevayayam prakritir gunanam jnanena vairagya vijrumbhitena yogena mayarpitaya cha muktya mam pratyag atmanam iha avarundhi. So even while in this world, he can achieve the Supreme Lord by asevaya, not serving the three gunas, by knowledge and vairagya. So Devavati asked this question: what kind of bhakti especially suitable for a woman like me, so that will help me to achieve your lotus feet very easily? Anjasa Anvashnava. So that yoga is like Bhagavad Bana. Yoga is targeted towards achieving the Lord, therefore it is called as Bhagavad Bana. So Kidrisha, what kind of that yoga is, and how many different limbs, Kati Angani, Yatas Tatvavabodhanam, so by which I can understand the Tattva. So after asking these questions, then Lord starts replying, what kind of bhakti? So Devanam Gunalinganam अनुश्रविक कर्मणाम सत्वे सत्व एवैक मनसो वृत्ति स्वाभाविकी तुया अनिमित्ता भागवती भक्ति सिद्धि गरीयसी. So ya vritti, so of the senses of the instructions given by the spiritual master and the scriptures, and the mind's vritti, which is applied only in the Lord, sattvi eva. So that sort of vritti or that sort of bhakti is far better than or gariyasi, siddhe gariyasi. And such kind of bhakti, kosham ashu jarayati, just like whatever is eaten, whatever food is eaten, that is digested by Jatranal. So this sort of bhakti digests all the sukshma. Kosham means linga shariram. So this sort of bhakti is swabhaviki. So the word is swabhaviki. So spontaneous devotional service. So it is obtained in two ways, by sadhana and by naturally by birth somebody has. So these four slokas, 34, 35, 36, and 37. So these four slokas describe the symptoms of uh, bhava bhakti or raganuga bhakti obtained by practice. So yesterday we discussed in sloka number 37. So such raganuga bhakta achieves opulences like uh, residents of Satyalok or Swargalok when he reaches spiritual world. Me parasya loki te ashnuvate. So all these devotees who are on this platform, they experience or they enjoy the opulences which are enjoyed by the residents of Swargalok or Siddhalok. So today we'll go ahead from shloka number 38. I'll just open this folio. Well, almost everyone has come. Sarlakshan is not here. I wanted to take vote for. Usually, after reciting the sloka, I explain it myself, and then I go to the tika, read one sentence or a few words from Sanskrit tika and explain it, and then come back to Prabhupada's translation and purport. So, is this style okay for all of you, or no? You can say, raise your hand if you are okay with this. Okay. So, others are not okay. Huh? So you can count the number. Yes, that I'll manage. Online also. Madravati Mataji is saying, okay, she wants to say something. Yes, Mataji, you can speak. Unmute her.
It's okay for us. We are getting into it.
Okay. Nassim Avtar Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm okay, Prabhuji. No problem.
Okay. Others, you can give in chat box. Sonar Gaurang Prabhu, Sham Leela Prabhu. So I think 60-70% devotees are okay. So going according to the majority, I will continue like this. जीवमिष्टम् So ever, so never ever mat paraha. So those devotees who are mat paraha, those who have made me as the supreme achievable object in their life. In Gita also, this word comes many places. Uh, any sloka? तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वशी हि यस्य इन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. So those who have made me to be the ultimate achievable object. Is mother by the word Shanta Rupi, like Radha ka Radhe was a Shanta Rupa ka Shanta Rupi. Or another meaning, spiritual world is a place where no Ashanti is there. So in my abode, in Loki, so it is Shanta Rupi. So may my animishah hetihi, animishah means actually निमिष यानी कि आईलिड, आईलिड जिनका ब्लिंक नहीं होता, देवताओं को कहा गया कि अनिमिष. एंड अनदर मीनिंग इज पाल की भी आंखें कभी बंद नहीं होती. पाल सबको सुला देता है बट ही रिमेन्स अवेक. सो देयरफॉर काल इज आल्सो हेति मींस लॉर्ड्स वेपन. सो मे अनिमिषः हेति, माय काल शक्ति और माय शक्ति इन द फॉर्म ऑफ डेमिगॉड्स. No lead he. So no lead he means it doesn't hamper or doesn't cause any disturbance to my devotees who are aham priyah. I am the beloved atma. So there atma ka bhi atma, they have accepted me to be, because of me their existence is there. Sutascha, son, friend, sakha, guru, surudah, daivam, ishtam. We're going to the tika portion. Shloka number 30. 38. So Shantam अविकृतम रूपम यस्य तस्मिन मतलोकी. तो शांत यानी कि अविकृतम, विकार न होने वाला, अविकृतम रूपम यस्य, जिसका ऐसा स्वभाव है, रूप है, तो वो क्या है? तस्मिन मतलोके, उस मेरे लोक में. मत पराह तद्वा लोकाः. तो मत पराह इसका वन मीनिंग आई टोल्ड बिफोर. तो हियर अनदर मीनिंग, मदवासिनः लोकः, तदवासिनः वहां रहने वाले लोकः. कदाचित अपि न नंक्षन्ति, कभी भी वो नष्ट नहीं होता. तो न नंक्षन्ति का मीनिंग क्या दिया है? भोग्यहीना न भवन्ति. So they also don't, or they don't become rahit or heen of the enjoyment. Whatever enjoyment is available in Swargalok or even Siddhalok, that enjoyment they get. But where? Matlok, in my abode. Animishaha me hitihi. So in the sloka, these three words are there, but only order is changed. Animishaha me hiti madiyam kal chakram. The meaning of these three words combined together is Mera Kal Chakra. No lead ही तान न ग्रसति. So no lead ही, ये भी थोड़ा सा second and fourth word on the second line. तान means जो मत परहा भक्त है उनको न ग्रसति. So additional slok references are quoted. न स पुनरावर्तते आ ब्रह्म भुवना लोको पुनरावर्तिन अर्जुन. So additional information is not required. We will directly see the translation. Here's the mic.
The Lord continued, "My dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time." In this verse, Kapildev addresses his mother as Shanta Rupa, indicating that the opulences of the devotees are fixed because the devotees are eternally fixed in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, which is called Shanta Rupa, because it is in the mode of pure goodness, undisturbed by the modes of passion and ignorance.
1 minute. The first line says, in this verse, Kapil Dev addresses his mother as Shanta Rupa. So, इधर ही खत्म होना चाहिए. Second meaning, so the spiritual world, indicating that the opulences of devotees are fixed because devotees are eternally fixed in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, which is called Shanta Rupa. So whatever I told Prabhupada mentions here. Next.
In the material world, the influence of time destroys everything. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time or of the demigods because there are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets.
So which is the word explained in this? Animisha. Time is animisha and demigods are also animisha. There are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets.
The devotees accept the Supreme Lord as the most dear personality and reciprocate with him in different relationships.
Matparaha.
As soon as we accept Krishna and his associates as our preceptors, no ill effects can destroy our knowledge. In the material world, the knowledge which we acquire may change because of the influence of time. But nevertheless, the conclusions received from Bhagavad Gita directly from the speeches of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, can never change. There is no use interpreting Bhagavad Gita, it is eternal. If Krishna is accepted as a son, he will never die. Here we have a very loving son or child, but the father and mother or those who are affectionate towards him always hope, may my son not die. But Krishna actually never will die. Therefore, those who accept Krishna or the Supreme Lord as their son will never be bereft of their son.
Third and fourth line. Sutascha. So third line end word. Prabhupada further explains in many instances devotees are accepted deity as a son. In Bengal, there are many such instances. Okay. Go ahead. Imam lokam tathe va amum atmanam ubhayayinam atmanam anumeye chah इह ये रायः पशवो गुहा विसृज्य सर्वान् अन्यांश्च मामेवं विश्वतो मुखं भजन्त्यनन्यया भक्त्या तान् मृत्योरतिपारये. So here imam lokam, this planet imam lokam, tatha eva amum. Similarly, amum means the parlok. So Atmanam Ubhayayinam. So the soul goes to this planet and upper planets. So one who travels to these places, so he is Atmanam Ubhayagaminam, Ubhayayinam, Ubhayagaminam. And Atmanam Anu. तो यहाँ पर आत्मानम यानी कि स्वयं की जो फॉलोअर्स अनु वेयर इह च. So in this place, his followers, so he visrujya sarvan anyamscha. तो ये रायः यानी कि राय यानी कि वेल्थ, पशवः, so in ancient time पशु धन माना जाता था, आजकल पैसा धन माना जाता है, लेकिन पहले पशु धन माना जाता था. तो रायः पशवः गृहाः, so houses. So all these followers of his, he leaves them sarvan anyamscha visrujya, त्याग कर विसृज्य माम एवं. So mam evam, in this way he use it, use all those things. And mam ka adjective vishvato mukham. Vishvato mukham, one meaning one who is present everywhere, or wherever the devotee goes, he sees the Lord. Therefore vishvato mukham. Ananyaya bhaktya bhajanti. So with pure bhakti they worship me. Tan मृत्योः अतिपारये, उनके लिए मैं मृत्यु को पार करा देता हूँ. So without their wishing, without their knowledge, without their wish, I let this happen. So shloka number 39 and 40. अस्वाभाविक्यः साधन भक्तेः उदाहरणम् आह. So now 34 to 37, this is sadhana siddha bhava bhakti. 38 is like natural, inborn raganuga bhakti. And 39 and 40, so that is not spontaneous. Aswabhavikyah sadhana bhaktehi udharanam aha dvabhyam. In two slokas, Lord describes about example of sadhana siddha, but not yet achieved raganugastar. So imam lokam, in the verse, first word was imam, and ki drushta bhoga asakti. Imam lokam ke liye, whatever is visible enjoyment, imam lokam. And amum means adrushta bhoga asakti. Ubhayayinam tad ubhayagaminam. So he travels to both the places, drushta and adrushta bhog. So atmanam iti ahantaspade. So ahankara rup, ahanta and mamata. So atmanam ubhayagaminam. So he himself, by his own strength, he is able to go up and upper planetary system or Swargalok. So these are the places where different enjoyments are available. Bhoktari cha asaktim visrujya. So aham taspad jo enjoyment hai, and that attachment towards that enjoyment, he gives it up. Visrujya iti yatha eva bhogadi asakte bhogadi prashamsa. So one who becomes attached to the enjoyment, he praises those enjoyment, and one who becomes detached from it, he does ninda. So rayah dhanani. So vishvato mukham. Going to the next sloka, Prabhupada takes it together. Vishvato mukham. Te yasyam dishi yanti tatra eva aham tesham abhimukha eva. So these devotees, wherever, in whichever direction, so yasyam dishi yanti, in whichever direction they go, tatra eva aham tesham abhimukha eva. So I am present in front of them wherever they go. Therefore vishvato mukham mam. So what is my adjective? Vishvato mukham. So wherever they go, I am also there. Other things. Last sentence. Samsar param anichatah api tan atikramya. So in the last line of this sloka number 40. So they don't desire to cross this samsara, but still atikramya paraya means param prapayami tan evam adnyapayitva. Without their knowledge, I am cross them beyond this samsara. So that already is told, yaduktam jarayati ashuya kosh. Coming to the translation. there.
Thus, the devotees who worships me, the all-pervading Lord of the universe, is unflinching devotional service. Gives up all aspirations to be promoted to heavenly planets or to become happy in this world with wealth, children, cattle, home, or anything in relationship with the Lord, with the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death. The Lord promises here that He takes His devotees to the other side of the birth and death. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended that one who aspires to go beyond birth and death should have no material possessions. This means that one should not try to be happy in this world or to be promoted to the heavenly world, nor should he try for material wealth, children, house, or cattle.
So, which is the shloka? Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended that निष्किंचनस्य भगवत भोजनोन्मुखस्य पारं परम जिगीषो भवसागरस्य भवसागर को प्राण पार करने का इच्छुक. So he is निष्किंचना. So that point Prabhupada brings here.
Actually, the pure devotee never thinks that he is fit for liberation. Considering his past life and his mischievous activities, he thinks that he is fit to be sent to the lowest region of hell. If in this life I am trying to become a devotee, this does not mean that in my many past lives I was 100% pious. That is not possible. A devotee, therefore, is always conscious of his real position.
So this is what ideally sometimes this internally we think I was pious, therefore I got this chance to practice devotional service, but it is not what is expected from ideal devotee.
In any life in which one is born as a householder or even an animal, one must have some children, some resources, or some possessions. But a devotee is not anxious to possess anything. He is satisfied with whatever is obtainable by God's grace. He is not at all attached to improving his social status or improving the status of education of his children. He is not neglectful, he is dutiful, but he does not spend too much time on the upliftment of temporary household or social life. He fully engages in the service of the Lord, and for other affairs, he simply spares as much time as absolutely necessary. Yatarham upayunjatah.
So for Grahastha, this is very instructive paragraph. So he does his duty, improving the status of education of his children. So nowadays, otherwise, it's very over importance. In our childhood, we went to school, taking our school bag and walking few kilometers or bicycle. But now the parents they go to school bus, carry the school bag with their child and make him sit in the school bus. Now you go. So this is a very personal introspection for Grastas. I don't want to comment, but what Prabhupada is writing here, I'm just trying to explain in few sentences. But should be dutiful, but not having over concern. One should be affectionate, but not over affectionate towards family members. So yatharham upayunjatah is he fully engages. So if the mind becomes too much absorbed in taking care of children and wife and house, then there is no mental space left for thinking about the Lord. So whatever is beautiful, so that much time should be given, and all other time he fully engages in the service of the Lord. And for other affairs, he simply spares as much time as absolutely necessary. Next.
It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that without the knowledge of the devotee, the Lord arranges for his devotee to be immediately transferred to his transcendental abode just after leaving his body.
Okay. नान्यत्र मद भगवतः प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरात् आत्मानः सर्वभूतानां भयं तीव्रं निवर्तते. So मद अन्यत न भयम तीव्र निवर्तते. मेरे अलावा दूसरा कोई भी ये तीव्र भय का निवारण नहीं कर सकता. So mad anyat. So what is the description or explanation for mad? So three adjectives. Bhagavataha. Mad bhagavataha anyat. या अन्यत्र. Second adjective. Pradhana purusheshvara. So the controller of even the three purushas. Karanodakshay Vishnu, Nirvodakshai Vishnu or Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So Pradhana Purusheshwarat and Sarva Bhutanam Atmanaha. So who is the soul of all living entities. So these three adjectives are used. So except me, no one or nowhere else, place or person can give or can remove the fear, Tivra Bhayam, na nivartate. Sloka number 41. So here, Mad Bhaktim Vina to Naiva Nistar iti aha. So without performing devotional service unto me, there is no other way for deliverance. So this is said iti aha. Mat to anyatra mam vina iti. So in the first word in the sloka. So without me, mad bhaktim vina iti artha. So mad anyatra means mad bhaktim vina. Bhakti vishayi bhutasya स्वस्य अनंत स्वरूपत्वेपि विशेषेण त्रयेण. तो भक्ति विषयी मेरे जो तीन रूप हैं स्वस्य अनंत स्वरूपत्वे अपि. तो भक्ति विषयी मेरे जो तीन रूप है उनके बारे में विशेषण त्रयेण पूर्व पूर्वम मुख्यानि सेव्य स्वरूपानि. So three adjectives are used. So one which is mentioned before, so that is like prominent. Purva Purva Mukhyani Sevya Swarupani Kanichina Suchayati. So out of many forms, three are mentioned here. Kanichan, some. The first adjective is Bhagavataha. Bhagavan Pratamataha Purna Sri Krishna Eva Tataha Sri Ramaha. So first Lord Krishna and then Sri Ram should be worshipped. Then second Visheshan, Pradhana Purusheshwarat. So Pradhana Purusheshwaraha Param Vyomanathah. So here the super soul of this universe. So Para Vyomanathah Tataha Atma Prakriti Antaryami. So this super soul for the Prakriti, super soul for the universe, super soul for the Prakriti. So this is Samashti Antaryami, the super soul of this universal form it refers to, super soul, and Vyashti Antaryami refers to Paramatma Cha. Iti Purushatrayam, Purusha Avataramasya, Anya Avatar also. Now coming to the translation.
The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resort to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation and also the Supreme Soul of all souls.
Okay, yes.
One should not be satisfied simply with knowing that one is Brahman. He must engage himself in the service of the Supreme Brahman, that is Bhakti. The engagement of Brahman should be the service of the Para Brahman.
तो भक्ति विषयी भूत से तो भक्ति से संबंधित जो है तो लॉर्ड्स फॉर्म.
As soon as one falls down to material activity, there is no
rescue from the cycle of birth and death. It is stated here by Lord Kapila, without my mercy, Manyatra Mat Bhagavata.
Okay. मद्भयाद वाति वातोऽयं सूर्यस्तपति मद्भयात् वर्षतीन्द्रो दहति अग्निर्मृत्युश्चरति मद्भयात्. In this connection, there is a nice detail or else. ननु अनन्यया भक्त्या इति त्वया उक्तम अतः अन्ये खलु असेविता देवाः कुप्यन्ति. ऑब्जेक्शन. अनन्य भक्ति अगर आपके प्रति जो आपने कही वो मैं करता हूं. ननो मीन्स ऑब्जेक्शन. अनन्यया भक्त्या इति त्वया उक्तम. So previously 2-3 places it came. अतः अन्ये खलु असेविता. If the other demigods are not served, then kupyanti. Tvad bhaktam kadachit dukkhayanti. So they may cause some disturbance or send some misery in the life of your devotees. So here, nava iti tatra satopamaha. No, it will not happen. Lord, it will not happen. Lord says with the pride. So mad iti, the sloka, whatever we recited. There is similar sloka in Shruti. भीषास्माद् वातः पवते भीषो देति सूर्यः भीषास्माद् अग्निश्च इन्द्रश्च मृत्युर्धावति पंचमः. So similar, by my fear the wind flows, by my fear madbhayad vati vatoyam suryastapati madbhayat. The Surya gives its heat or light because of fear of me. Indra showers rain because of fear of me. Then Agni burns because of fear of me. And the Lord of Death, he does vicharan, or he does his job out of fear of me. So this is the principle. If there is no authority above, then the work is not done. So this line is important. Tena yadi, if these devatas kamapi te, कोई भी वो हो, मद भक्तम कदाचित अभी, मेरे भक्तों को कभी भी दुन्वंती या दुखयंती, मेरे भक्तों को अगर दुख देता है, तदा तान तत्तद अधिकाराद अपि अधः पातयितुम न एव अहम विलंबे इति भावः. तो तब तदा तान यानी कि उन देवताओं को तत्तद अधिकारात, whatever post they are holding, तत्तद अधिकाराद अपि अधः पातयितुम न एव अहम विलंबे. मैं थोड़ी भी देर नहीं करता उनको वो पद से दूर हटाने के लिए. So this is very deep insight Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives. So demigods, they cannot send any misery in the life of devotees of the Lord. Yes.
It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me, the sun shines out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth shower out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me.
So this Satopam is with pride, Lord is saying that because these things are happening because of fear of me, so if those demigods try to send misery to my devotees, I remove them from their post.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws being enacted are correct in all activities because of his superintendence. No one should think that nature is working automatically without superintendence.
Which is the sloka in Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada says,
The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence because he is in the background. Everything is being performed punctually and regularly.
so all the seasons or day night that cycle or अदर जो 4 साल में चेंज होता है पुरुषोत्तम मास. So it is all cycles, and even the temperature range in winter season, lowest temperature can go up to this. In summer season, highest temperature can go up to this. So this control, or even the growth of our body, how it is happening, the bones and the skull, especially here, brain substance and the skull, the growth is happening same speed. Right hand, left hand growth happened in the same speed. There was a possibility that right hand grew faster than left hand. So all those things are not happening. The hairs grow here, but they don't grow here. Here, they grow here, but up to certain length. Then the growth stops. So punctually and regularly. Last thing, he no law.
He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. The impersonalists may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualification to him. But actually, it is neither imagination nor an imposition of artificial power in the name of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is said, Vishashmadam Vataha Pavate Vishodeti Suryaha. By fear of Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are acting. Vishma Shada Agnichandrascha Mrityu Dhavati Panchamaha. Agni, Indra, and Mrityu are also acting under his directions. There are the statements of the Vedas.
So God is quoting from Tika. ज्ञान वैराग्य युक्तेन भक्ति योगेन योगिनः क्षेमाय पादमूलं मे प्रविशन्ति कुतो भयम्. So again, jnana mishra bhakti, jnana and bhakti mishra, jnana and yoga mishra bhakti is mentioned here. So with this jnana vairagya bhakti, yogina, many yogis, kshemaya, kshemaya means mokshaya or ultimate punar dukkha abhavaya, kshemaya, me pad moolam pravishanti. So pravishanti means they obtain my lotus feet. So this pada moolam has a adjective akuto bhayam. So that which doesn't have any fear, akuto bhayam.
The yogi is equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaged in devotional service for their eternal benefit. Take shelter of my lotus feet. And since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead without fear. He does not have to seek separately. The yogis who engage in devotional service are full in knowledge and renunciation. If there is a lack of knowledge and renunciation, it is to be understood that one is not in full devotional service.
If there is a lack of knowledge and renunciation, knowledge cultivation is also required. In Bhagavad Gita, also chapter number 13 to 17, 5 chapters, Lord Krishna gives knowledge about Prakriti, Purush, 3 modes, and then divisions of faith, divine and demoniac nature. This is knowledge which gives impetus for performing bhakti more intensely. Even in Bhagavatam, till 10th canto, or 10th canto is full of bhakti, but again 11th canto is jnana. So all Uddhav Gita is full of jnana only. Bhakti part is there, but lot of jnana. Last sloka of this chapter. एतावानेव लोकेऽस्मिन् पुंसां निःश्रेयस्योदया तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन मनोमय्यर्पितं स्थिरम्. तो अस्मिन् लोके एतावान एव, तो यही सभी पुरुषों के लिए पुंसाम निःश्रेयस उदय. तो एकदम निःश्रेयस मीन्स सर्व साधनस्य उदय. The ultimate benefit of all the people in this world is performing this Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Manaha Mai Arpitam Sthiram. Only by applying mind in me, it can become sthira. Otherwise, it is not possible.
Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life.
So there is not much purport by Acharya, therefore I did not go here. तो इतो अधिकः निःश्रेयस उदयः न एव कापि अस्ति. So there is no other ultimate beneficial thing for all the living entities. Kim tu uta nyuna eva sarva iti bhava. So what to speak of any thing else? So this is the highest. Now we'll go to next chapter. This chapter has 72 slokas. Chapter number 26. And this is the summary is told here. Shadvimshe pum prakrutyostu vivekaya upavarnyate sankhena sarvabhavanam janma lakshana vedadah. So in this 26th chapter, Purusha and Prakriti, Pum means Purush, Pum Prakrutyostu Vivekaya. तो उसका विवेक या उसका अंडरस्टैंडिंग या डिस्क्रिमिनेशन उपवर्ण्यते इट इज डिस्क्राइब्ड सांख्येन सर्वभावानाम और सर्व तत्वानाम सांख्य योग के द्वारा ऑल द एलिमेंट्स सो देयर उत्पत्ति जन्म एंड देयर सिम्टम्स सो इट इज with the differentiation of utpatti and their symptoms. So this again the utpatti of these elements, 24 elements. So it is coming third time here that is mentioned. Dhatra putraya yat proktam. So dhatra means here Brahma. Putraya means Naradaya. Yokahata yat proktam. Kshatri mitra sutena yat. Kshatri means Vidurji ko. Vidure मित्रा सुतेन मैत्रेय मुनि की माता का नाम मित्रा तो मित्रा सुतेन यत तो मात्रे सांख्यम तद अध्यात्म प्राधान्येन आह तत्ववित्. So here तत्ववित् Lord Kapila, so he tells his mother Matre सांख्यम तद अध्यात्म प्राधान्येन आह. So pradhanyata is spirituality or theistic Sankhya. So in the notes which are given to you, theistic Sankhya and theistic Sankhya. So here Adhyatma Pradhanyana means theistic Sankhya he described in this chapter. So first look of this chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Athate Sampravakshami Tattvanam Lakshanam Prithak Yad Viditva Vimuccheta Purushaha Prakritair Gunaihi. So Lord is speaking without anybody is asking the question about creation. So Lord himself speaks this. So before going ahead from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Tika for this chapter summary. So Shadvimshe Mahad Adinam Utpattir Lakshanam Tatha. So in this 26th chapter, Mahad Adinam, the 24 elements they are called as Mahad Tattva Ityadi. Mahad Adinam Utpatti, their creation and their symptoms, Lakshanam Tatha, Taihi Vairat Tatasya Chaitanyam Uktam Atma Praveshat. तो ये महत तत्व है उसमें विराट पुरुष निर्माण हुए तई ही विराट तस्य चैतन्यम विराट पुरुष बिकेम लाइव और सजीव बन गए चैतन्यम उक्तम आत्म प्रवेश था. So Lord himself entered into all these elements and then made this virat purusha living. So here now before going to this tika coming Atha means after speaking the glories of bhakti, So, te sampravakshami. So, te means tubhyam, unto you, sampravakshami. So, samyak pravakshami. Completely, I will speak. What? Tatvanam pruthak lakshanam sampravakshami. So, tatvanam here, all the 24 elements. तो तत्वों का लक्षण symptoms and different, not in the same way, differently. Each tattva, how it is created, what are its symptoms. So three slokas for each tattva will be mentioned. So yad viditva, by knowing this, purushaha. So here purusha is the living entity, not the param purush, the living entity. Prakrutehi gunehi vimuchyate. So he becomes free from the three modes of material nature. Prakriti, Gune, Vimuchyata. Here, Matra Prushtheshu Bhakti Jnana Yogeshu. So माता ने जो भक्ति ज्ञान और योग ये तीनों के बारे में पूछा था, नॉट ओनली भक्ति. मात्रा पृष्ठेशु भक्ति ज्ञान योगेशु भक्तिम उक्त्वा, भक्ति के बारे में he spoke भक्ति मुक्त्वा मातरम तथा एव कृतार्थी कृत्य अपि. तो माता को इस प्रकार एकदम सेटिस्फाइड कृतार्थी कृत्वा अपि. So he made his mother satisfied by describing about bhakti. ये करने के बाद भी अपि कर्म ज्ञान योगाधि स्वर्ग मोक्षादि फलानाम भक्त्या विना दातुम अशक्यत्वात्. तो कर्म ज्ञान योग इनके द्वारा स्वर्ग मोक्ष आदि फलानाम भक्त्या विना. सो द फ्रूट ऑफ स्वर्ग मोक्ष इत्यादि without bhakti it is not possible to give. Bhaktya vina datum ashakyatvat teshu api bhakti mahadevya adhikarat. So even in these three things, karma jnana yoga, teshu api bhakti mahadevya adhikarat. Her predominance is there. Adhikarat sarvatra samrajyavatyaha. So she only rules in these three areas. Samrajyavatyaha. So from here onwards. तस्या उपासक जनैः अपि. तो भक्ति के उपासक जनों के द्वारा भी तस्या उपासक जनैः अपि कौतुकवशात्. कौतुकवशात् means out of curiosity. कर्म ज्ञानादयो अपि जिज्ञासनीया एव. So they should inquire out of curiosity about karma jnanadayo api jidnyasaniya eva iti sampratam jnanam vaktumaha. Now Lord Kapila wants to speak sampratam now jnanam vaktumaha. So he wants to speak about jnana. So therefore this verse comes which begins with atha. Sorry.
The personality of Godhead, Kapila continued, My dear mother, now I shall describe unto you the different categories of the absolute truth, knowing which any person can be released from the influence of the modes of material nature. Sankhya philosophy is especially meant for persons who are conditioned by this material world. It is generally understood by the parampara system or by disciplic succession to be the science of devotional service. Preliminary studies of devotional service have already been explained. Now the analytical study of devotional service will be explained by the Lord, who says that by such an analytical study, one becomes freed from the modes of material nature.
Okay. We'll take 5 minutes break, 12 o'clock, and then continue from 2 to 20. हो गए 5 मिनट ज्यादा ही हो गए so we can start respect Krishna in the form of time then others ज्ञानम निःश्रेयसार्थाय पुरुषस्यात्मदर्शनम यदाहुर्वर्ण्यये तत्ते हृदय ग्रंथि भेदनम. So the question may come in the mind, why you are speaking about Tattva Gyan? So you should speak about Bhakti only more. So here, question is raised by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. ननु तत्व लक्षण ज्ञानेन किम भविष्यति. ये तत्व लक्षण ज्ञान या तत्व ज्ञान, तत्वों का ज्ञान 24 एलिमेंट्स, तो उनके सिम्टम्स और उनके ज्ञान से क्या होगा. किम भविष्यति इति अतः आह. Therefore Lord says in the shloka that begins with jnanam. So this sentence, tattva lakshana jnanadev विविक्त आत्म ज्ञानम भवति इति भावः. तत्व ज्ञान से ही आत्म ज्ञान हो सकता है. तत्व लक्षण ज्ञानादेव, तो ज्ञान के तत्व लक्षण ज्ञान से ही विविक्त में शुद्ध आत्म ज्ञानम भवति इति भावः. Therefore तत्वों का ज्ञान भी नेसेसरी है. So always from known to unknown, whatever is visible, from that we can understand what is invisible. Whatever is स्थूल, from that स्थूल only we can understand what is सूक्ष्म. Directly we cannot jump into the सूक्ष्म. So therefore tattva jnana, all the tattvas are around us. So if we understand them properly, then we can understand the subtle person who created those sukshma tattvas or sthul tattvas. So this is the principle, from known to unknown. So English it is very oftenly quoted, said, but this is actually in our scriptures. Basis is scriptures. So jnanam, so what is the adjective for jnanam? Purushasya atma darshanam. तो यहाँ पर पुरुषस्य यानी कि जीवस्य या आत्मनः, आत्मा का या परमात्मा का. तो हियर वी कैन टेक पुरुषस्य मीन जीवस्य आत्मदर्शनम. तो सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन के लिए संस्कृत शब्द क्या है? पुरुषस्य आत्मदर्शनम. देन अनदर एडजेक्टिव हृदय ग्रंथि भेदनम. तो देह अंतःकरणादि आत्माध्यास निवर्तकम. देह और अंतःकरण मैं हूं ऐसा ध्यास का निवारण होना ही हृदय ग्रंथि भेदनम. सो यद आहु, जो ज्ञान ये 3 उपलब्ध करा देता है. 3 पुरुषस्य आत्मदर्शनम, हृदय ग्रंथि भेदनम, यद आहु. एंड फॉर योर अल्टीमेट बेनिफिट, निःश्रेयस अर्थाय, for the purpose of obtaining the ultimate beneficial thing, tat jnanam te tubhyam varnaye. So I will speak that knowledge unto you. इसके पास माइक है.
Knowledge is the ultimate perfection of self-realization. I shall explain that knowledge unto you by which the knots of attachment to the material world are cut.
हृदय ग्रंथि भेदनम.
Knowledge leads one to attain the ultimate perfection of life and to see oneself as he is. The Svetasvatar Upanishad 3.8 also confirms this. Tam eva vidittvati mrityum iti. Simply by understanding one's spiritual position or by seeing oneself as he is, one can be freed from material entanglement.
तम एव विदित्वा. तम मीन्स यहाँ पर जीव जीव को ही जानकर. तम एव विदित्वा येति. येति यानी कि अति. अति मृत्युम येति. मृत्यु के पार जा सकता है. विदित्वा अति मृत्युम येति. ओके.
This position of rightly understanding oneself cuts the knot of material attraction. Hridaya Granthi Bhedanam. When one can cut the knot of attachment to the material world, his understanding is called knowledge. The soul is thus isolated from the entanglement of the 24 categories of material nature.
So now going first sloka, Lord speaks about Param Purush, and then he will come to the Jivatma as a Purush. So Tatra Purusham Lakshayati, third sloka. Tatra means in this matter now. Lord speaks about Purush. अनादिर आत्मा पुरुषो निर्गुणः प्रकृतिः परः प्रत्यग्धामा स्वयं ज्योतिर्विश्वं येन समन्वितम्. So all these words पुरुषः निर्गुणः आत्मा. आत्मन ये शब्द का विभक्ति नहीं चलता तो आत्मा ये प्रथमा एक वचन. प्रकृति है परः. प्रकृति के बियॉन्ड. प्रत्यक सर्वेन्द्रिय अगम्य. So by all the senses he cannot be achieved. प्रत्यग. धामा is कारणार्णव, causal ocean जिनका धाम है. धामा. स्वयं ज्योति. So he is self-effulgent. स्वयं ज्योति. येन विश्वम समन्वितम. By him only whole world समन्वितम is or occupied or vyaptam or activated by him. So coming to the tika for this. Tatra Purusham Lakshayati. So in the sloka, first word came Anadihi Atmaha. So here Anadihi in the sloka this word came Nirguna. So its meaning Prakruta Guna Rahita. So always we say Nirguna means no material qualities, no material qualities. So this is the exact here. Material means Prakruta and qualities means Guna. Prakruta Guna Rahita iti Nirguna. Therefore, Yataha Prakriti he Paraha. Therefore, he is beyond the Prakriti, material nature. Pratyagatma, Pratyag means Sarvendriya Agamyam. By all the senses, he cannot be obtained. So Agamyam. Dhama means Karanarnavaha Yasya. तो जिनका धाम कारणार्णव, causal ocean बहुत बार इंग्लिश में सुना लेकिन इसका संस्कृत क्या है. कारणार्णव यस्य धामः स धामा. अतएव स्वयं ज्योतिः. therefore is self effulgent. स्वप्रकाशः. स्वयं ज्योतिष्त्वे हेतुः. So the cause of his being self effulgent is explained. तो विश्वम ये न समन्वितम जो लास्ट 3 वर्ड्स है. तो समन्वितम सत मीन्स बीइंग स्प्रेड ऑल ओवर द विश्व प्रकाशति इति शेष. So the whole world is made active or prakashit kiya hai, because he has entered in the whole universe, Vishwam. Book translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Soul.
So he is perceivable everywhere. So Vishwam Yena Samanvitam, and another also meaning his self-effulgent luster, the entire creation is maintained. Vishwam Yena Samanvitam Prabhupada writes two meanings. So here Purusha is explained already about the Lord. Many details are mentioned, but because of shortage of time, we will not read anything from this purport. So now, we will speak about Prakriti in one shloka. So, स एष कृतिं सूक्ष्मां दैवीं गुणमयीं विभुः यदृच्छया एव उपागतम् अभ्यपद्यत लीलया. सो सः एषः विभुः, तो सः परमात्मा एव या पुरुषः एव. So yadrichaya, so by his own sweet will. So yadrichaya chopapannam swargadwaram. So without you expecting it, so here in Bhagavad Gita this sloka comes, without you asking for it, this opportunity has come to you. So here yadrichaya, by Lord's own free will, yadrichaya eva upagatam. So he went near upagatam. किसके नजदीक गए? प्रकृतिम. So Lord went near the prakritim. So where prakriti is having adjective sukshmam. So sukshma means invisible. One meaning sukshmam, invisible, or it will come in tick also. Invisible form daivim. So it is divine. Daivim gunamayim. 9.10. Daivi Hesha Gunamai No Maya Durattiya. So Lord went near her and Leelaya, Leelaya for creation of this material world in order to create facility for living entities desires to get fulfilled. Leelaya Abhyapadyata. So he glanced on her to impregnate her. That is here. Esha, so in Sayesha means Esha Paramatma Yadrichaya Eva. So Yadrichaya Eva. Swairataya Eva. So he's Swarat because of his supreme independent position. Swairataya Eva. Swashaktitvad. Out of his own Shakti, Swashaktitvad. Upagatam. So Nazdik gaya. He went near. Upagatam karma bandha jagat sistruksha samaye eva. Living entities karma, and because of karma they are becoming bound. Karma bandha jagat sistruksha, तो सृजन करने की इच्छा सिस्त्रुक्षा. So when he desired to create this world again, so that time sistruksha samaye eva leelaya. So as a pastime. Abhyapadyata. Abhyapadyata, this is a verb which has a meaning. Jiva Shakti Rupam Viryam Tasyam Adadhana. The Lord's Virya, Siman. Jiva Shakti Rupam Viryam Tasyam Prakriti me Prakrityam Adadhana. So he placed that Virya in her womb. So another meaning, Ekshata iti artha. Just by glancing, not by physical contact. Ekshata. So Jiva Goswami quotes this Vedanta Sutra. Sa ekshata iti shutehe. He glanced. That's it. But they explain or elaboration is done in this section. Read again.
As his pastime, that supreme personality of Godhead, the greatest of the great, accepted the subtle material energy, which is invested with three material modes of nature and which is related with Vishnu.
Hmm.
In this verse, the word Gunamayim is very significant. Daivim means the energy of the supreme personality of Godhead, and Gunamayim means invested with the three modes of material nature. The example of a cloud is very nice given. All of a sudden, there may appear a big cloud in the sky. This cloud is perceived in two ways. To the sun, the cloud is a creation of its energy, but to the ordinary common man in the conditioned state, it is a covering to the eyes. Because of the cloud, the sun cannot be seen. It is not that the sun is actually covered by the cloud. Only the vision of the ordinary being is covered. Similarly, although Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord, who is beyond Maya, the material energy covers the ordinary living entities.
Prakriti para, previously it came.
Similarly, the covering capacity of the material energy is limited and cannot act on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is therefore called Vibhu. As the appearance of a cloud is accepted by the sun, so the appearance of the material energy at a certain interval is accepted by the Lord. Although his material energy is utilized to create the material world, this doesn't mean that he is covered by that energy. Those who are covered by the material energy are called conditioned souls.
So, karma bandha jagat sistrukshiya samaye. So, just like cloud appears, disappears, this universe appears, disappears. So that is explained. So, further now about Prakriti. What happened in that Prakriti after Lord placed his virya in her? गुणैर विचित्रः सृजतिं स्वरूपः प्रकृतिं प्रजः विलोक्य मुमुहे सद्यः स इह ज्ञानगुहया. Okay. So here सह now. So वो पुरुष now is, that conception is changed now. Previously, shloka number 3, Purusha means Paramatma. Shloka number 4 about Prakriti, and now in 5th shloka this word Saha is coming. So Saha means here now Jivatma. So here Vilokya. So Vilokya means Lord glanced. Abhyapadyata or Ekshata. So Ekshata ka meaning either aa Vilokya. He glanced on that Prakriti, and then that Prakriti Sarupam Prakritim Srujati. तो स्वयं जैसे ही, तो लिविंग एंटिटीज आर आल्सो कॉल्ड एज प्रकृति, देयरफॉर स्वयं के रूप जैसे वाली अनेक प्रजा सृजति. तो गुणै ही विचित्रा, बिकॉज ऑफ द 3 गुणास इट हैज बिकम मेनी प्रजा विचित्रा, वैरायटी आ गई उसमें. तो इस प्रकृति को Jnana Guhaya. So because of this living entities, knowledge got covered, Jnana Guhaya, and immediately he became bewildered. Mumuhe. Mumuhe means Visasmara. He forgot. So from the Tika, one portion for this shloka. तो तत्र जीवस्य मोहम आह प्रकृतिं विलोक्य, प्रकृति की तरफ देखकर, सह नाउ हियर जीवात्मा, इह श्लोक में आया शब्द प्रकृतो स्थितः. So now जीवात्मा is in the प्रकृति, स्थितो प्रकृतो स्थितः. सद्यः, सद्यः means immediately, प्रकृति संसर्ग समये एव. As soon as the Lord glanced or and it came in contact with Prakriti, Jnana Guhaya, Prakriti eva अविद्या आख्य वृत्तिया। तो प्रकृति ही प्रकृति है प्रकृति के अविद्या नामक अविद्या आख्य वृत्तिया युक्त. So the living entity became yukta with avidya. So therefore, mumuhe means swarupam visasmara. So he forgot his own swarup just by glancing prakriti vilokya. So now here this avidya के बारे में थोड़ा सदा एव अनादि अविद्या युक्तः अपि. The living entity is always covered by avidya. So what is the difference between this avidya and the eternal ignorance? So that is explained here. Sada eva avidya, sada eva anadi avidya yuktah api jivah sushupto yatha swarupam kinchit upalabhati. So here may example is given. So although he is always covered by that anadi vidya, so living entity jiva sushupto. So these four stages of our consciousness: Jagruti, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya. So Sushupti means very deep sleep. So Sushupto yatha swarupam kinchit upalabhati. So he remembers his swarup kinchit, slightly upalabhati. Tatha eva, in the same way, tatha eva srushtehe purvam pralaye api swarupa upalabhamana eva asit. So ये सृष्टि के क्रिएशन के पहले इन द टाइम ऑफ प्रलय अपि स्वस्वरूपम उपलभमान एव आसीत्. He understands his swarupa slightly, just like in Sushupti one understands his swarup slightly. एव आसीत् सृष्ट्या आरंभे तु तद विसस्मार. But in the creation, at the time of beginning of creation, सृष्टि आरंभे तु तद स्वरूपम विसस्मार. So that time वो अविद्या का इफेक्ट थोड़ा बहुत था, वो भी खत्म हो गया. So ज्यादा बढ़ गया, अविद्या इतनी बढ़ गई कि पम विसस्मार इति अर्थः. So what kind of this prakriti कीदृशी? So there is a question. Gunaihi, in the sloka this first word thing, Gunaihi vichitraha. So Gunaihi sattvadibhihi. So Gunai is Tridya Bhavachan, uska meaning is sattva ityadi ke dwara vichitraha has become like variety bahut aa gaya usme. Vichitraha prajaha, all the living entities are prajaha srijatim. So this is also said in tathacha shrutihi. So in the Shruti there is a reference. Ajam eka lohita shukla krishnam bhavihi praja janayanti sarupaha ajo heko dushamano anushete jahatyenam bhukta bhogam ajonyah. So this verse I located in is the Hindi translation of this Shruta Shrutar, one of the Upanishads. So Ajam eka lohita shukla krishnam bhavi prajaha srijamanam sarupaha ajo heka joshamano anushete jahati nam bhukta bhogam ajonyah. So here Ajam ekam, Aja pullingi shabd hai, ajopi sannaveyatma, and Aja श्रीलिंगी इटर्नल प्रकृति को अजा कहा गया है, इटर्नल पुरुष को अज. तो अजन्मा, सो हियर अजाम एकाम, सो एक ही इटर्नल प्रकृति को लोहित शुक्ल कृष्णाम. So these three modes are explained by the three objects. Lohita, like kala, लाल, सॉरी लोहित मीन्स लाल. शुक्ल सत्वगुण के लिए शुक्ल, एंड तमोगुण के लिए कृष्ण काला तमस. So because of these three gunas, बहि प्रजाः स्वरूपः सृजमानाम, स्वयं के जैसा ही रूप होने वाली बहुत सारी प्रजा. Our body is made up of this प्रकृति three gunas, तो उसकी जैसा ही रूप होने वाली प्रजा. तो ऐसा सृजमानाम, सृष्टि करने के बाद क्या हुआ? एक अजह, एक अजह, एक पुरुष Jushamanaha anusheti. So while trying to enjoy her, so he sleeps or he tries to enjoy that prakriti. So ajaha ekaha and anyaha ajaha. End of the sloka. Anya aja bhukta bhojam yenam jahati. After enjoying or impregnating her, so jahati परित्याग कर देता है. तो हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन अपने अनुरूप बहुत सी प्रजाओं का उत्पन्न करने वाली ये रज तम और सत्वगुण वाली अनादि प्रकृति को एक अज जीव स्वीकार करता हुआ भोगता है और दूसरा अजह अन्य अजह यहाँ परमात्मा उपभुक्त प्रकृति का परित्याग कर देता है. So coming to the translation for this now. Where's the mic?
Divided into varieties of her threefold modes. Material nature creates the form of living entities, and the living entities seeing this are illusioned by the knowledge covering feature of the illusory energy.
So are illusioned by the knowledge, jnana guhaya, covering feature of the illusory energy.
It is applicable only to the praja or those who are born with material bodies, the conditioned soul. It is stated in the previous verse that the material energy was accepted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in order that he might exhibit pastime for the living entities who wanted to enjoy and lord it over material energy. This world was created through the material energy of the Lord for the so-called enjoyment of such living entities. Why this material world was created for the suffering of the conditioned soul is a very intricate question. There is a hint in the previous verse in the word Lilaya, which means for the pastime of the Lord. The Lord wants to rectify the enjoying temperament of the conditioned soul. An example can be cited here that there is no necessity for the government creation of separate police department, but because it is a fact that some of the citizens will not accept the state laws, the department to deal with a criminal is necessary. There is no necessity, but at the same time there is a necessity.
So this material world is created Leelaya, but at the same time to fulfill the desires of living entities. The big purport will not read a whole. Okay. प्रलय हाँ यस यस स्वरूप का ज्ञान होता है हाँ सृष्टि आरंभे. So in the beginning of creation, that Atma Jnana or Swarupa Jnana also he forgets. So I'll show you from the Tika also, as it is translation is done. So afterwards, Sudhamana Prabhu's question will take. Shlok number 5. The Jiva is eternally connected with Avidya. Jiva was in some realization of his Swarup at the time of destruction before the creation, just as the Jiva, when sleeping, realizes his Swarup a little. At the beginning of creation, Srishti Arambhe, however, he forgets that. Itna hi, Viswasmara. So from here to here. You want to read once? Then Ajam Ekan saying, तो उसका translation जरा difficult to understand. The Jiva is situated by the side of Prakriti, red, white, black, and creates the living entities being similar to itself. So the direct as it is red, white, black, उसका meaning अगर देते तो जरा relate कर पाते हैं. Okay. हमारी सुषुप्ति का रिलेट करो उससे। हम जब डीप स्लीप में होते हैं तो वी आर एक्सपीरियंसिंग द डीप स्लीप, बट द एक्सपीरियंसर अनुभव करने वाला इज देयर। आई हैड अ डीप स्लीप, ऐसा अनुभव करने वाला है। सो दैट इज अ लिटिल स्वरूप उसका। तो पिंडी ते ब्रह्मांडी, Pinda means our small existence, and Brahmanda means the universal creation. So we can try to understand universal creation to some extent, not 100%, get some idea. So as I said, from known to unknown. Unknown is very subtle, and known we can relate easily.
I also heard another place that this state where the Jivatma is partially able to remember his Sarupa and at the same time maintaining his enjoying spirit is more miserable state for the Jiva in the womb of Lord, because he is having desire but he is not having body to fulfill those desires.
Possible. Show me the reference. I can.
I heard in Balram Shakti Bhakti Yoga classes, correct? I mean, it makes sense because the body is not there, but enjoying mentality is there, and he's remembering his Swarupa also and maintaining desire to enjoy also.
Yes, yes.
But because he is not having body, he will become more miserable.
By our common sense, yes, it makes sense, but we should have some reference also. Okay. So after this, what happened? He became attached, or he forgot his jnana guhya. He forgot his swarup. एवं पराभिध्यानेन कर्तृत्वं प्रकृते पुमान् कर्मसु क्रियमाणेषु मुनेरात्मनि मन्यते. So evam, in this way, para abhidhyaneन, so प्रकृति को देखकर पहले आया था, तो देखकर ही उसका ध्यान करने लगता है. So just like person watches some movie or some drama or some dance, and he becomes abhidhyana, मनन या absorption उसमें चालू हो जाता है. So evam parabhidhyanena, in this way, because of complete contemplation, पुमान और जीव प्रकृति ही कर्तृत्वम, तो प्रकृति कर रही लेकिन वो खुद ही करता, मैं हूं ऐसा, मन्यते कर्मसु क्रियमाणेषु गुणे ही आत्मनि मन्यते. सो गुणों के द्वारा वो खुद को ही एक सब प्रकृति ही क्रियमाणानि गुणे कर्माणि सर्वशा अहंकार. So that shloka from Bhagavad Gita is coming here also. Some portion from the Tika here. एवं नृत्यतः गायतः पश्यन् यथा एव अनुकरोति तान इति रीत्या. तो जिस प्रकार नाचते हुए गाते हुए उसको देखकर यथा एव अनुकरोति, so similarly he also tries to do. तो पराभिध्यानेन प्रकृति अध्यासेन सा च प्रकृति देह एव इति. तो ये प्रकृति से बना हुआ देह ही मैं हूँ. तो इति मननेन प्रकृति ही गुणे ही, प्रकृति के गुणों के द्वारा जो कर्म किए जा रहे हैं, राम रूपादि ग्रहणेषु कर्तृत्वम आत्मनि मन्यते. He identifies himself with the Prakriti. Translation. इसके पास माइक है? Sixth का translation.
Because of his forgetfulness, the conditioned living entity accepts the influence of material energy as his field of activities and thus actuated. He wrongly applies the activity to himself.
Okay, next. सदस्य संस्कृति बंधः पारतंत्र्यं च तत्कृतं भवति अकर्तुरीशस्य साक्षिणो निर्वृतात्मनः. तो अस्य यानी कि जीवस्य, तो तद जो पहले श्लोक में आइडेंटिफिकेशन मिस आइडेंटिफिकेशन हुआ, तो तद अस्य जीवस्य संस्मृति ही, संस्मृति मीन्स रिपीटेड बर्थ एंड डेथ। तो उसका जरा टीका से देखते हैं। हियर श्लोक नंबर 7, तद इति कर्तृत्व मननम एव, तो मैं ही करता हूं ऐसा बहुत कंटेम्पलेशन, मननम एव अस्य जीवस्य वस्तुतः साक्षात साक्षी मात्रत्वात्, ही इज लाइक विटनेस। गीता आल्सो 5th chapter, नैव किंचित करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन्। So I don't do anything, न एव अहम करोमि, नैव किंचित करोमीति। So therefore साक्षी मात्रत्वाद अकर्तुः एव। So in the shloka this word has come, भवति ही अकर्तुः, तो अकर्तु का और ये साक्षिणः, so he is like a witness, he is not doing actually anything, अकर्तुः। Where it has gone, here, right, sadhana 7th, अकर्तुः एव सतः कर्मभिर एव बंध। So although he is not doing, but because of his misidentification, कर्मों के द्वारा he gets bound, कर्मभिर एव बंध। एंड ईश, ये शब्द श्लोक में है, भवति अकर्तुः ईशस्य अस्य या ईशस्य। So why this ईशस्य श्लोक शब्द is there? यथा राजकीय पुरुष, राजकीय पुरुषो राजा उच्यते तथा एव ईशस्य, ईश शब्द वाच्यस्य ईश्वर शक्ति रूपस्य अपि। तो भगवान इधर राजा का जो मंत्री वगैरह है वो राजा ही कहलाता है लोकली, नॉट बाहर उसके। तो सिमिलरली ईश्वर का पाठ होने के कारण, भाव होने के कारण ईश शब्द वाचस्य ईश्वरस्य शक्ति स्वरूपस्य अपि। तो कर्म बंध कृतम भोग पारतंत्र्यम, so therefore he becomes paradhin, bhoga paratantram. So nirvritatmanah, so in the shloka this word has come, nirvritatmanah, atmanah, so uska meaning sukhasya, sukha swarupasya api, so nirvritatmanah, so he is the personification or existence is sukha swarupasya api samsrutihi. तो संस्कृति वर्ड हैज कम इन द श्लोका, संस्कृति, उसका मीनिंग जन्म मृत्यु प्रवाह। ओके, ध्रुव महाराज तो
Material consciousness is the cause of one's conditioned life, in which conditions are enforced upon the living entity by the material energy. Although the spirit soul does not do anything and is transcendental to such activities, he is thus affected by conditional life.
okay.
In summary, the suffering of the conditioned soul is due to his attachment to material nature. This attachment should thus be transferred from matter to Krishna.
कार्य कारण कर्तृत्वे कारणं प्रकृतिं विदुः भोक्तृत्वे सुख दुःखानां पुरुषं प्रकृतिः परम। संगीता also similar shloka comes, कार्य कारण कर्तृत्वे प्रकृति हेतु उच्यते पुरुषः सुख दुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतु उच्यते। तो उसका जरा रीअरेंजमेंट ऑफ द वर्ड्स here. So this body and senses and the demigods, karya karana kartrutvi. The cause for this body, the senses and the devatas, prakriti is said to be the cause. And पुरुष का सुख दुख का अनुभव, तो भोक्तृत्वे पुरुषः कारणम् उच्यते। So for his happiness and distress, he himself is considered the cause. For his body, senses, and the demigods, Prakriti is said to be the cause. But for his own happiness and distress, he is enjoying mentality, bhoktrutve. So Karanam Shabda should be there in supplied to be added. Going to the tika for this. जीवस्य कर्मभिः एव बंध तेषाम कर्मणाम च। तो जीव का ये कर्मों के साथ बंधन और उनके इंस्ट्रूमेंट साधने एंड फल भोगे, एंजॉइंग द फ्रूट्स एंड हैविंग द रिसोर्सेस फॉर एंजॉयमेंट, इन दोनों के लिए क्रमेण प्रकृति पुरुषो एव कारणे इत्याह। सो रिस्पेक्टिवली क्रमेण साधन के लिए प्रकृति कॉज है और फल भोग में पुरुष एव कारणे इत्याह। It is already known thing, so will not go elaborate in the tika. The cause of the conditioned soul's material body and senses, and the senses presiding deities, the demigods, is the material nature. This is understood by learned men. The feelings of happiness and distress of the soul, who is transcendental by nature, are caused by the spirit soul himself. Purusha hetu uchati muktritvi sukha dukkhanam. But when there are bodily reactions as felt in happiness and distress, it is to be understood that the cause is the spirit soul himself. So now next 12 shlokas, they don't have much purport, so we'll cover them in next 10 to 15 minutes. देवहूति उवाच प्रकृतिः पुरुषस्यापि लक्षणं पुरुषोत्तम ब्रूहि कारणयोरस्य यदात्मकम्. So after hearing this explanation about Purusha and Prakriti, two types of Purusha, and Purusha being the cause of his own happiness and distress. So there's a question by Devahuti. O Purushottam, Prakriti and Purushasya, तो इन दोनों के लक्षणम ब्रूहि, इन दोनों के symptoms, please describe the symptoms of Purush and of Prakriti. तो कारण यो हो, तो जो प्रकृति एंड पुरुष से दो प्रीवियस श्लोक में आए जो थे, तो कारण यो कॉज, कारण यो हो अस्य, तो ये जीवस्य सद असद यदात्मकम, स्वयं के सूक्ष्म एंड स्थूल, तो ग्रॉस एंड सटल और कॉज एंड इफेक्ट की जो कारण है, तो प्लीज डिस्क्राइब देयर सिम्टम्स टू मी.
Devahuti said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, kindly explain the characteristics of the Supreme Person and his energies. For both of these are the causes of this manifest and unmanifest creation. Material nature is ever existing in its subtle form as the energy of the Lord, but it sometimes manifests this non-existent or temporarily existent nature, the cosmos. An analogy may be made with the father and mother. The mother and the father exist, but sometimes the mother begets children. Similarly, this cosmic manifestation, which comes from the unmanifest material nature of the Supreme Lord, sometimes appears and again disappears. But the material nature is ever existing, and the Lord is the supreme cause for both the subtle and gross manifestations of this material world.
So out of 5 topics in Bhagavad Gita, how many are eternal and which is not eternal? Ishvara, Prakriti, Jeev, Kal and Karma. So which is not permanent, except karma. All four are eternal. So Prakriti is eternal. It gets manifested. Sometimes it remains unmanifested. Sometimes. So now characteristics of this Prakriti and Purush. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Yat Trigunam Avyaktam Nityam Sad Asad Atmakam Pradhanam Prakritim Prahur Avishesham Visheshavat. So Lord is speaking, ये जो यत्तत् त्रिगुणम अव्यक्तम नित्यम सद असद आत्मकम. सो ये प्रकृति के ये सब विशेषण है. प्रकृति को कभी प्रधान भी कहा जाता है, कभी ओनली प्रकृति ही. एंड अविशेषम. सो व्हेन द प्रकृति इज इन अनमैनिफेस्टेड स्टेट, द थ्री गुणास आर इन इक्विलिब्रियम 33.33%. Therefore, there is no vividita. Therefore, avishesham. And when the gunas become disbalanced, then lot of variety comes. Therefore, visheshavat. So there is more explanation, but I'm not going in detail. So nityam. So eternally, she is existing. Avyaktam, not manifested. And the sukshma form of all the elements. Samahara. Aggregate के लिए equivalent word in Sanskrit is samahara. Aggregate of all the elements is pradhana. So in UP also, गांव के सरपंच को उधर प्रधान बोलते हैं. So the manifestation of the world begins from pradhana, the original avyakta form. Just like the building's manifestation begins in the mind, which is unmanifested. Ideas are in the mind, they are not visibly seen. So therefore, invisible pradhanam. So it is said prahu. So now we'll just read the translations.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the unmanifested eternal combination of the three modes is the cause of the manifest state and is called Pradhan. It is called Prakriti when in the manifested stage of existence.
The same thing in the unmanifested state, it is Pradhan, and when it is manifested, then Prakriti.
The actual explanation.
Sorry, now.
The Lord points out material nature in its subtle stage, which is called Pradhan. The actual explanation of Pradhan, however, is given here. When the cause and effect are not clearly manifested, avyakta, the reaction of the total elements does not take place, and that stage of material nature is called Pradhan. One adjective used in this connection is nitya, which indicates eternality. Therefore, the previous to its manifestation is called Pradhan.
So here, Visheshan में बोलना one adjective. So one of the Visheshans. पंचभिर ब्रह्म चतुर्भिर दशभिस्तथा एतच्चतुर्विंशतिकं गणं प्राधानिकं विदुः. So पांच पंचभिः. So 5 tanmatras and 5 Mahabhutas, or 5 Prithvi, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And Chaturvi, it will come ahead. Chaturvi, 4 categories of Antakaran. So there is mind, intelligence, false ego, and Chitta. It will come ahead. And Dashavihi, so 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas. Dashavihi, Etad Chaturvyamshatikam. तो 24, एतत् 24 गणम 5 के ये, या 5, 5, 4 और 10. तो गण यानी कि ग्रुप. तो जैसे लाइक धातु के ग्रुप है या उपसर्ग के गण है वैसे. तो प्राधानिकम गणम. तो बेसिस इज प्रधान एंड सब कैटेगरी इज दिस 5, 5, 4, 10.
The aggregate elements The aggregate elements, namely the 5 gross elements, the 5 subtle elements, the 4 internal senses, the 5 senses for gathering knowledge, and the 5 outward organs of action, are known as pradhana.
So in Gita, do you remember anywhere these 24 elements are mentioned? Any shloka is there or no? First question. Is there or no? Okay. Fair approximately. 24 elements are mentioned in Gita also. Clear. In 13th chapter, shloka number 6 and 7. महाभूतानि अहंकारो बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च इंद्रियाणि दशैकं च पंचचेंद्रिय गोचराः. So महाभूतानि, पंच महाभूतानि 5, ahankara 6, buddhi 7th, unmanifested pradhan 8th. So 10 indriyas, indriyani dasha, ekam cha is mind, and pancha cha indriya gochara 5 tanmatras. So even in Gita, Lord has spoken in very sutra form. Now the same Lord in the form of Kapila is elaborating on those 24 elements here.
The sum total,
Yes.
the sum total of the 24 elements, pradhana, is also described as Yonir Mahat Brahma. It is the source of birth and subsistence of all living entities.
So in Bhagavad Gita chapter number 14, it comes, Mama Yonir Mahat Brahma Tasam Garbham Dadhami Aham. Here Prakriti, इधर only मैं गर्भ धारण करवाता हूँ. So here Prakriti is that Lord's Mama Yoni Mahat Brahma. Okay. महाभूतानि पंचैव भूरापो अग्निर मरुद्नभः तन्मात्राणि तावन्ति गन्धादीनि मतानि मे. So no only translations now, no explanation, because easy now.
These are 5 gross elements, namely, there are 5 gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether. There are also 5 subtle elements, smell, taste, color, touch, and sound.
इंद्रियाणि दश श्रोत्रं त्वग्दृक् रसननासिकः वाक्करोचरणो मेढ्रं पायुर्दशम उच्यते. So here त्वग् दृक् रसना and नासिका. वाक करो 2 है इसलिए करो, चरणो मेढ्रम means genital, पायु anus. Continue.
The senses for acquiring knowledge and the organs for action in number 10, namely the auditory sense, the sense of taste, the tactile sense, the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the active organs of speaking, the active organs for working, and those for traveling, generating, and evacuating.
मनोबुद्धिर अहंकारः चित्तम अंतरात्मकम चतुर्धा लक्षते भेदो बुद्ध्या लक्षण रूपया. तो यहाँ पर ये अंतरात्मकम, अंतःकरण के मनः बुद्धि अहंकार चित्त चतुर्धा भेदः या वृत्त्याः लक्षण रूपया लक्षते. तो अंतःकरण की ये 4, तो 24 एलिमेंट्स में से ये 4 है.
The internal subtle senses are experienced as having 4 aspects in the shape of mind, intelligence, ego, and contaminated consciousness. Distinctions between them can be made only by different functions since they represent different characteristics.
तो ये अंतःकरण की ये 4 पार्ट क्यों हैं? क्योंकि उनके फंक्शंस डिफरेंट हैं. एतावान एव संख्यातो ब्रह्मणः सगुणस्य च गुणस्य सन्निवेशो मया प्रोक्तो काल पंचविंशकः. So these are the 24 elements. एतावान एव counting संख्यातः ब्रह्मणः सगुणस्य. तो सगुण ब्रह्म के यही 24 तत्व हैं. तो सन्निवेशो मया प्रोक्त. तो इसमें यह काल जो 25th एलिमेंट पंचवीशकः so maya so kal is Lord himself. He enters into these 24 elements. So therefore some people say it is a 25th element, some say no, Lord is already counted, or he should not be counted as a 25th because he is all pervading.
All these are considered the qualified Brahman. The mixing element, which is known as time, is counted as the 25th element.
Okay, so I think we'll stop here. This chapter has 72 slokas, as I said. So many slokas, they don't require much explanation. So therefore, we'll cover this chapter in tomorrow's sitting. 2 chapters will complete tomorrow. कंतरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्रील प्रभुपाद की